This is English Street. You want to learn English? Then you are in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's get started.
The Story of a Young Tiger. Chapter 1. The Young Tiger. Deep in the heart of a vast green forest lived a young tiger named Taro. He was still small, with soft orange fur and faint black stripes that would one day grow darker and stronger. Although Taro was young, his eyes shone with curiosity, always searching for new things to see and understand. Taro lived with his mother and father in a warm cave hidden between tall rocks. Every morning, the forest woke up with him. Golden sunlight streamed through the leaves, and the air filled with the cheerful songs of birds. Taro loved those mornings because the world seemed full of promise. He was a playful cub. He ran across the grass, leapt over fallen branches, and chased colorful butterflies, although he never managed to catch them. His laughter echoed through the forest, making even the shyest animals pause and listen. Taro admired his father, who was strong and powerful. His father often told him, "One day you will be as strong as I am. But first, you must learn patience and wisdom." Taro tried to imagine himself as a big tiger, walking proudly through the forest. For now, however, he was just a curious little cub, eager to discover the world. At night, when the stars sparkled above the trees, Taro often lay awake. He wondered what lay beyond the hills, beyond the rivers, and deep inside the forest. His mother always warned him, "Stay close, Taro. The forest is beautiful, but it can also be dangerous." Taro nodded politely, but inside his heart, the desire to explore grew stronger each day. Chapter 2. First Friends. One bright morning, Taro wandered down to the river near his family's cave. The water was cool and clear, and he enjoyed watching the silver fish dart between the stones. As he bent down to drink, he noticed his reflection. "Hello, little tiger," he whispered to himself, amused by the face looking back. Suddenly, a cheerful voice called out from above. "Hello there!" Taro looked up quickly and saw a lively monkey hanging from a branch. "My name is Miko," said the monkey with a wide grin. "What's yours?" Taro blinked in surprise but answered, "I'm Taro." Miko swung down with ease and landed gracefully on the ground. "Would you like to play?" he asked eagerly. Taro's eyes lit up. "Of course!" The two began to play together. They chased each other through the tall grass, hid behind tree trunks, and laughed loudly. Miko climbed high into the trees, moving so fast that Taro could barely keep up. "I wish I could climb like you," Taro admitted, panting. Miko laughed. "And I wish I could run as fast as you." While they were playing, a flash of bright color passed above them. It was a beautiful parrot with red and green feathers. She circled in the sky before landing on a branch near them. "Hello, my name is Luma," said the parrot in a clear, almost human-like voice. Taro was amazed. "You can talk!" Luma tilted her head proudly. "Of course I can. I have flown across this forest many times. I have seen rivers, mountains, and even villages." Taro listened carefully, his heart beating faster. This was exactly what he wanted, to learn more about the world. Sitting together by the river, the three new friends shared stories, laughed, and enjoyed each other's company. For the first time, Taro felt that he was no longer just a little cub. He was an explorer, ready for new adventures. Chapter 3. A Walk in the Deep Forest. A few days later, Taro woke up with restless energy. The forest was quiet that morning, and his parents were still asleep in the cave. He looked outside, saw the golden light of dawn, and whispered to himself, "Today, I will see more of the forest." Taro padded softly across the grass and followed a narrow path between tall trees. The air was fresh, filled with the smell of wet leaves and flowers. He heard the distant call of birds and the rustling of small animals hiding in the bushes. Soon, Miko the monkey appeared, swinging down from a tree. "Where are you going so early?" Miko asked, yawning. "I want to explore," Taro answered proudly. "Then I'll come with you," said Miko, instantly awake. As they walked deeper into the forest, everything felt different. The trees grew taller and darker, their branches covering the sky like a green roof. Strange flowers glowed with colors Taro had never seen before. The sound of running water led them to a hidden stream. Suddenly, a shadow passed above. Luma, the parrot, landed on a low branch. "You two should be careful," she warned. "This part of the forest is far from your home. Not every animal here is friendly." But Taro's excitement only grew stronger. He wanted to see every corner of the forest, no matter the danger. With Miko's laughter and Luma's guidance, the young tiger continued his first true journey. Chapter 4: The Big Storm. By afternoon, the air in the forest changed. The wind grew stronger and the sky turned gray. Dark clouds gathered quickly above the trees. "I don't like this," Luma said, flapping her wings nervously. "A storm is coming." The first drops of rain fell, soft at first, then heavy and cold. The forest filled with the sound of thunder. Lightning flashed, bright and frightening. Taro tried to stay calm, but his small body shook with fear. He had never seen such a storm before. Miko grabbed a branch tightly, his eyes wide. "I can't stay here. The wind is too strong," he shouted. The rain fell harder, turning the ground into slippery mud. Trees bent under the force of the wind, and branches cracked loudly. The three friends tried to find shelter. They ran and stumbled, blinded by the rain. Finally, they saw a hollow tree. It was small, but big enough for them to hide inside. Breathing heavily, they huddled together. For a long time, the storm raged. Thunder shook the ground, and lightning lit the sky like fire. Taro closed his eyes and wished to be back in the safety of his cave. When the storm finally began to fade, the forest looked completely different. The ground was covered with fallen leaves and broken branches. Streams of water ran down the hills, carrying mud and stones. Taro stepped outside carefully. He realized that he had no idea where they were. The storm had taken them far from the path, far from his home. The young tiger was lost. Chapter 5: Lost and Alone. The forest was quiet after the storm, but it was not the peaceful silence Taro knew. It was heavy, almost frightening, as if the trees themselves were watching. Rain still dripped from the leaves, and mist rose from the ground, hiding the path. Taro looked around nervously. "Where is my home?" he whispered. Miko climbed a broken branch and scanned the area. "I don't recognize this place," he admitted. His cheerful smile was gone. Luma shook her feathers, still wet from the rain. "We are far from your cave. I think the storm carried us to the other side of the forest." Her voice was serious. For the first time in his young life, Taro felt truly afraid. The forest, which had always seemed like a playground, now looked endless and strange. He missed his mother's gentle voice and his father's strong presence. His chest ached with longing, but he forced himself not to cry. Miko noticed and patted Taro's paw. "Don't worry, we'll find the way back together." Luma nodded. "Yes, I can fly above the trees and search for landmarks. We are not alone." The words gave Taro strength. He realized that even though he was lost, he had friends beside him. If he listened carefully and stayed brave, maybe they could return home. That night, they found a small dry place under a wide tree. The storm had passed, but the forest was still damp and cold. They huddled close for warmth. Taro looked up at the dark sky. The stars were hidden behind clouds, and he felt smaller than ever. But deep in his heart, a new determination began to grow. He promised himself, "I will not give up. I will find the way back." Chapter 6: Finding the Way Back. The next morning, the sun returned, shining weakly through the wet branches. The forest smelled fresh, like new life after destruction. "Let's begin," said Taro, his voice stronger than before. Luma spread her wings and flew above the trees. From high in the sky, she called down, "I see a hill to the east. Maybe from there, I can spot your valley." The three friends started their journey. The ground was muddy, and Taro's paws sank into the earth. But he kept moving, step by step. Along the way, they met challenges. A river blocked their path, wider and faster than the one near Taro's home. "I can't swim across," said Miko, worried. Taro thought for a moment, then spotted a fallen log nearby. With a push, they rolled it into the water, making a small bridge. Carefully, one by one, they crossed. Later, they walked through thick bushes with thorns. The thorns scratched Taro's fur, but he didn't complain. He wanted to show his friends that he was brave, just like his father. When they finally reached the hill, they were tired but hopeful. Luma flew high into the sky again. From above, she cried out, "I can see the river near your cave. It's far, but we are on the right path." Taro's heart leapt with joy. "Then let's keep going," he said eagerly. But the journey was not over. As they made their way down the hill, a shadow moved between the trees. A large wild boar appeared, blocking their path. Its eyes were sharp, and it stomped the ground angrily. Taro froze. He was small, and the boar was huge. But then he remembered his father's words. "One day you will be strong too." Maybe that day had come sooner than he thought. He lowered his head, showing his teeth. Miko shouted from a tree, trying to distract the boar. Luma flew close, screaming loudly to scare it. Together, they confused the animal until it finally turned and ran away. Taro stood trembling, but also proud. For the first time, he had protected his friends. Chapter 7: Home Again. At last, after hours of walking, the trees began to look familiar. The air smelled like home, and Taro recognized the shape of the valley. His heart beat faster with every step. When they reached the river near his cave, Taro cried out in happiness. "This is it! We're here!" His parents were waiting. His mother ran forward, her eyes full of relief, and pressed her face against his. "Taro, my little one, we were so worried." His father stood tall, but his eyes were soft with pride. "You have returned, and you did not return alone." Taro introduced Miko and Luma, telling the story of their adventure. He spoke of the storm, the long walk, the dangers, and how his friends helped him. His father listened carefully, then said, "You are still young, Taro, but today you showed courage. True strength is not only in the body, It is also in the heart. That night, the cave was warm and safe. Taro lay between his parents, but he did not feel like the same small cub anymore. He had faced fear, found courage.
Hey you! If you like the videos, you can like and subscribe. See you in a new video.